pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Linda.
Mr. Burdell, Mr. Chauncey, Mr. Close.
Here.
Ms. Lote, Dr. Lobby.
Here.
Mr. Mulroy.
Here.
Mr. Rarick.
Here.
Mr. Skate.
Here.
Ms. Walker.
Here.
The Board of School Directors of Armstrong School District convened an executive session on Thursday, October 5th at 6:45 p.m. in the Faculty Lounge of West Hills Intermediate School in Catania for discussion of personnel, student confidentiality, and real estate.
Thanks, Linda. Tonight we have board representatives from Washimokan Junior Senior High School.
Hello, it's just me tonight. Eric is at a soccer game tonight, so I'll be reporting on all the schools. At West Shamokin, over the course of the summer, the student council led efforts to clean up the outside of West Shamokin. Orientation for our new students was held on August 23rd. The football team held its annual kickoff parade on August 20th, and the band participated in the Labor Day parade. Homecoming was on September 15th. Our king was Turt Sledel, and our queen was Latham Porter. The Tri-M induction ceremony was held on September 26th. The Powder Puff game is next Wednesday, October 11th. And our soccer team is doing very well this year. Currently, their record is 7-1-1. The students of the month for September were Latham Porter and Bryce McClafferty, and our students of the month for October will be announced on Monday. Preparations have begun for the musical. The Music Man will be performed on Friday, March 23rd, Saturday the 24th, and a matinee performance on Sunday the 25th. Our Sunday performance is new this year because the past two nights have sold out, so they've been trying to add some. At Shannon Valley Elementary, students have been enjoying the renovations that were made over the summer. Teachers, parents, and students agree that the renovations have created an atmosphere more conducive to learning. At Dayton Elementary, teachers and students are preparing for the annual Fall Festival, which will be held on November 23rd. Proceeds will benefit the 6th grade Gold Pass program, which rewards 6th grade students for good behavior, preparedness, and responsibility. At both Shannon Valley and Dayton Elementary, teachers have begun the Positive Behavioral Intervention and Supports program, which has already had success in improving student behavior and performance in the classroom. 6th grade students will be attending West Shamokin's annual Halloween Carnival for the first time, which we hope will help them to have an easy transition from elementary to high school. And at Elderton Elementary, Back to School Night was held on September 20th and was well attended. The PTA has sponsored a book fair for students as well as Picture Day this year. And classes have begun Penny Wars, a fundraiser to help relief efforts after a rough hurricane season. The money will be used to help repair damaged schools in Texas where Hurricane Harvey struck. And Elderton Elementary was awarded a $16,700 grant from Project Fit America, which will be used towards new indoor and outdoor exercise equipment, as well as innovative educational programming over the course of the school year. The equipment will be introduced to students on October 11th. Thank you very much.
Any questions? Awesome. Thanks for your report this evening. Thanks for joining us. Central office reports.
Yeah, we have a couple updates here this evening. The first update is on the athletic complex at Armstrong High School. Matt Hansen from Mike AM Inc. is here this evening to update the board on where we are with the bid openings.
Mike. Matt.
All right, so, Mr. DeVivo and Sam asked me to come back and update everybody on progress, certainly, as well as the bid opening that we had earlier this month. So we'll start with the progress that's been made. I was just at the complex yesterday and took some photos. The bleachers are, I'd say, 98% complete. There's a few punch list items still remaining to be cleaned up, but they're looking good. I think that we're very satisfied with the delivery of that piece of this project, and we're excited about what that looks like. The turf itself is also in place. We've got the logos cut in, the numbers, hash marks, all of that's looking good. Lights have been installed. We don't have permanent power to the site yet. That's part of the field house project. We brought in some generators last week just to test the lights that were installed. Everything seems to be working well. There are a few issues with the functionality that we're told are related to the fact we don't have permanent power. These lights are LED lights. They're able to be dimmed and controlled in various different ways. And so some of that controllability wasn't quite there yet, but we're assured that it will be when everything's connected. Another shot. You can also see that the substrate for the track surface has been installed. And so right now, we're waiting for that to cure. It has to cure and off gas. It's an oil-based product, obviously, and it needs to settle down before we start the application of the track surface. We're hoping for that to commence in the following weeks. We're feeling very good about getting it in this fall and having it ready for track and field in the spring. So that's the good news. The bad news is we opened bids in the middle of this month. And to be frank, we were shocked with what we saw. This project, this phase of the project, the field house piece, was identified to be about a $3.2 million component, and bids came in, if we accepted all the lows, down to $5.5 million. Well over the anticipated cost and well over the appetite that we were told we have for this project. So we needed to kind of circle back together as a design team to figure out what went wrong, and to, more importantly, I believe, figure out how we're going to move forward and get this project back into the place where we want it to be from a budget perspective. And doing that with an eye, at the end of the day, to the schedule that has always been stated, the goal to have football and soccer being played next fall, 2018. So there's a couple of things you do when you come in over budget. Value engineering, look at some of the things that you can identify that can be either eliminated or reduced with respect to the materiality of it, the construction type that we're using. And we got pretty creative with what we were doing, and we got to a point of over $2 million in potential savings. We took most of those in terms of our pathway forward. But there are certainly some things to understand in terms of what this list really represents from the facility perspective. I'll go back to this. The building that produced these numbers was a building that was kind of accommodated in a very similar way to the one we're in now. Has heating and alternate cooling that was built for 12 months of the year. It was going to be a complete 24/7, 12-month-a-year facility that anybody could use it at any given time, and would be comfortable all the way around. The reality is that as we work with the stakeholders, that was not necessarily the bottom line need, and that we don't necessarily need this facility to be functional in the colder months of January, February, into December to a certain extent. And so there can be a dramatic savings by changing the way that the heating is built. Instead of a gas-fired rooftop units with ducted ventilation providing the level of comfort that we're experiencing right now, more of a locker room condition where you put a unit heater up in the corner and broadly heat a space with one heat source. It will get the job done. It will keep the pipes from freezing, certainly, but on a 20-degree day at halftime, you probably do end up with some kids huddled around the heater trying to warm their hands up. So it's a different level of expectation. But that one change alone represents about $500,000, even more than $500,000 in total savings to the project cost. At the same time, if we make that change, if we assume that come December, we turn the water off, we drain the lines, and we pour glycol in the drains to keep them from freezing, we can build this building in a different way. instead of a block structure, a block and steel frame structure, we can do some things different. And this is really the economy that we're looking for. This is an image of a warehouse, just any warehouse anywhere in the USA. But it's a pre-engineered steel metal building. And the beauty of these things is that they can produce them incredibly efficient, pennies on the dollar to what stick-built construction or block and steel construction represents. And they can do them incredibly quickly. So if you can save overall time from schedule, number one, it helps us in the fall. And number two, it reduces the construction duration for all the other trades associated with this. So it's kind of savings in a lot of different areas. Not that I'm saying we want kids dressing for football and having pep talks at halftime in a facility like this, but this concept provided us with a way forward in terms of savings of building envelope, building mechanical systems, and when you add that to some reduction in site development work, that's where we got to that $2 million, north of $2 million savings that fits our project back. So with that, I'm going to, any questions so far? I want to show you what the building looks like now, given this reality. Yes.
Excuse me, I just have a couple questions.
Sure.
What was the square footage cost of the original bids?
Original bid was around $220 to $230 per square foot.
That's what the bids came in at.
No, that was our proposal way back last year. Bids came in at $478 a square foot.
What's the proposed square footage costs for this type of building?
Just back to the 220.
And now, the redesigning of this, is that on you guys? Or does the board have to pay for that?
Great question. I get paid as a percentage of construction cost. I think it's 6%.
Yes.
I thought it was 2.
We'll see how tonight goes. No, so no, it doesn't matter how many times we have to bid. We're committed to this project being a successful project, and we get paid on the ultimate bid number that the board approves. So I'm working real hard to get paid less right now.
Okay.
It's a wonderful business model, but that's the reality. So there's no additional professional service fee.
What, in your opinion, was the reason the square footage costs come in so much higher on the bids?
We're still trying to figure that out to a certain extent. We actually hired a third-party cost estimator to run this again, to treat themselves as though they were a contractor. They got numbers from subs, 3 different competing numbers from all the different trades. They did all the packages, mechanical, plumbing, electric, and general conditions. And they came up with a number almost identical to the bid number, which to them said this is where the market is. We know that Pittsburgh is experiencing a construction boom right now. There's more work than there are contractors. That plays a role. Does it play a?
I don't think it doubles.
220? That's not all of it. Certainly there were some appetites, eyes bigger than appetite kind of things, like the heating system that I mentioned. We really didn't have any exotic finishes. There were no terrazzo floors. We had concrete floors. We had some ceramic tiles in the shower. That made the value engineering exercise that much more challenging because there just wasn't a lot of meat on it. We started with a 12,000 square foot program. We ended up with a little bit less than that at the end of the day. So it wasn't scope creep that I could put that onto. We looked at a lot of precedents. There was a building in Ohio for a school district that was almost identical square footage, almost the identical material palette. I shared the case study with Sam. They opened bids last year at this time, and that was $198 a square foot. And so we're as shocked as all of you are in terms of what's driving these numbers. Now, our cost estimator did provide some market analysis on some of the materials here. Masonry is one of the market sectors where there's an incredible demand on the masonry producers, and contractors are not able to procure that material as easily or quickly as in years past. We have a lot of masonry on this project. So again, it's this, part of it is there's zero economy of scale based on the size of this. I gave the analogy earlier that my destination, if I'm leaving for a meeting that's an hour away, and I get delayed and I end up leaving 5 minutes late, I have enough time with an hour's drive ahead of me to do a little bit faster, do a little, catch a light or two, run a yellow, whatever I need to do to make up that 5 minutes. If my destination is only 10 minutes away, and I leave 5 minutes late, I'm not allowed, I don't have enough time, no matter how fast I would catch that one. And I think this project, given the size and the scope that we're left with, well, it's great from our perspective, in terms of scale and scope. It puts that much more pressure on these individual trades, there's just not much. And if they're not hungry, and we're not gonna sharpen their pencils, that reality is magnified based on the size. So I don't have a perfect answer. And to be perfectly honest, we spent maybe 3 or 4 days trying to figure out why, and we spent the rest of the time trying to figure out how we can do this thing in the way that we want to.
Could you supply to the board, I'm getting ahead of myself, what items you've changed from the original bids? As
Yeah.
far as the finishes, and I don't know what the roof's on there, the metal roof or
Well,
whatever?
let's get into that. We kind of talked through that as I put the images up, and if you have any
Okay.
questions after that, then we.
Now, the square footage is less on the new?
It's the same, so that's. if you-
Okay, it's the
You
same.
have 2 strategies when you're over budget. You reduce material or quality, or you reduce scope.
Square foot, yeah.
We had both, we presented both to the steering committee, and as we talked through it, there really wasn't scope that was on the table, at least at this point. We were challenged to find a way to deliver that same program for the cost that we talked about the day before this.
The reason I ask that, I don't wanna, and I know we can't afford the original bids, but I don't wanna see this stripped down, that's gonna be there for 35 years.
Well,
I don't wanna see
And
it
again,
to
you're
the
gonna
point where,
You're gonna see, I think what we went through is the scope of the work and what we're being provided to the student athletes is gonna be the same in this building as it was.
oh, I
in the other
understand
building.
that.
what's the?
I just don't wanna
maybe
see
where
it
you're going,
stripped
like-
down.
Yeah, where the lifespan, like if the original scope got you, and I'm making up numbers, 25 years, but when you go to this building, it's only gonna get you 10.
We asked that question also in our meeting.
Really?
The lifespan, of the expectancy of a pre-engineered building, we asked that question the other day when we met.
Yeah, no, it's a rock solid steel building. It's engineered in a way that is meant to last. You can drive through any industrial park and see 30, 40-year-old examples of this. And I keep using the example of warehouse. But this same technology, the same kind of construction is used for spec office buildings.
Yeah.
It's even used in residential applications. You really want to be creative with it. So we're not trying to adapt something that's never been used for this purpose at all. In fact, it's probably more common for the field house, every hockey rink you've ever been in is this
Right.
kind of thing.
No, I agree with that.
Indoor athletic facilities, soccer fields, they're all built this way because of the economy. We were originally not going down that path because we didn't want to match and stay as close to the quality and construction type of the original, of the high school that's on the same campus. We wanted these things to share some approaches. So this is the site plan. You see the building here. It's still the 2-building concept that we identified in our planning with a central entranceway. We did eliminate a lot of scope in the field here. One of our options was to eliminate the river hop walk. The steering committee said no, that's an important design element. We do want to connect this facility to the school. We want a safe way that kids can get to the stadium from the school without having to walk along the road. We also talked about eliminating the sidewalk if we have this. And again, the direction was, let's keep that sidewalk in. Again, we want people to be able to park and make their way safely without having to walk on the road. But there originally was a plaza here. There was a much larger plaza out front. We cut back on all of those things. There was some additional parking in this area. We cut back on that. We have the accessible parking that's necessary and 2 extras, but nothing beyond that. And then we also are going to treat some of the paving around the stadium as alternates to give us a little flexibility in our bid day. So a reduced scope, certainly on the site plan. The other element that you can't really see here is that by changing our heating system, we're eliminating the gas utility from the scope as well. That's a lot of work in the ground that we're taking out of the equation, saving a lot of money there.
You know, some of these things too, down the road, either through generous donations or foundation or whatever, these things can be added back in, you know, through some naming rights or something like that, so.
Sure.
You know,
One
that's-
little example, we talked about the elimination of lockers in the visiting locker room. Most facilities that you go to has a bench with a shelf and code books above it. We were providing 15-inch metal lockers all the way around, 75 of them, at a cost of $25,000. So when we, there's no real big piece. You gotta look at all the little pieces and understand exactly what you need today and what you can bring along, bring online. So again, what we did is a single slope shed roof application, not that dissimilar. We had a flat roof from the original, but instead of an EPDM rubber membrane, we're using metal roofs. So again, very durable material, long lasting. It's got a 25 years up to 35 year, depending on the finish system that we use for it. A warranty associated with it. The building itself has a similar warranty. So we're also talking about galvanizing all of the steel to increase its durability and resiliency to that issue. So back to the entrance. This is what it looks like today. We have eliminated the brick. That is a nice to have, but not a need to have. The block that you see is a split face block as opposed to the round face. That's another savings there. The masonry number was one of the largest numbers in the GC package. We had to make some cuts there. But in terms of the entrance experience, I think it keeps the same character of what we were going for with the original design. At least that was the goal.
Wasn't there a sign, Riverhawks or something, when you were coming down the road, you'd see it, Riverhawks Stadium or something on the original?
There was a sign on the side of the building. It's still there. Whether it's an illuminated sign or whether it's a painted sign is kind of up for debate.
Yeah, I think that was something you'd see as you're driving in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there are certainly there still remain those branding opportunities for that. Go in. We still have 2 windows for the concession stand. Again, that was something we identified. We talked about reducing that concession stand to 1 window, and the steering committee said, no, let's try to keep the 2. We'll just have, the line will get too long at halftime if we only have 1. So it was decisions and conversations like that that really led us. We also preserved the tunnel elements for the teams to kind of burst out onto the field pre-game celebration and again at halftime. So this is it's a much simpler geometry, not nearly as many ins and outs. That's how this building type becomes efficient and cost effective, but we're trying to preserve some of the same qualities. The stepping of the block is consistent with the architecture of the high school. We're trying to match those elements. The ribbon windows, again, consistent with the athletic side of the existing high school. I'll fly around a little bit to show you some of the branding opportunities that we discussed beyond just this. So we still have that. And then the district is considering purchase of the metal or the fabric screens similar to what you have on the baseball field to dress up the backside of these and get logos applied to those.
We would do that on our own. We would purchase that. It'd be much cheaper for us to purchase than a general
How would
contractor.
they be lit? I mean, to be lighted from the
Those,
ground up?
no, those behind those are just windscreens.
They would act like they're lit because we actually do have
There's lighting underneath there.
bleachers, so they
Okay.
can be backlit.
I guess it's just something when you're coming in there, when you see that.
Yeah, no,
It was
is the first thing
impressive.
you see, for
It
sure.
was impressive. I mean, I understand, you know, you need to cut, but I'm only one person, but.
Believe me, we were very proud of the design that we came up with. We were excited about it. And we had every indication that would be a building that would produce the budget that we were looking for based on the estimates and the dollars per square foot analysis that is applied to that. That just wasn't the case. And we can spin our wheels wondering why, or we can keep moving ahead. So with this, in terms of big schedule, we can deliver these drawings, these revised drawings with all the associated engineering for a rebid opportunity that begins December 15th. That allows us to open bids roughly January 15th, mid-January, and awarding, doing the due diligence of the low bidders for sure, awarding those contractors hopefully early February and getting them mobilized on site. And then they have February, March, April, May, June, July, all warm months, leading to hopefully a mid-August occupancy date. That meets the scheduled goal that is certainly a challenge and becoming more and more of a challenge every day. a solution. It's different, it's certainly rethinking some things, but the thing that I wanted to bring up is we spent a lot of time in our stakeholder groups in our planning and visioning session identifying the guiding principles for this project. There were 6 of them. I don't have them all committed, but I've gone through them, and the execution of this project in this way upholds all 6 of those guiding principles, with number 6 being fiscal responsibility, staying on the budget and delivering the project as anticipated. So to me, that, yes, there are nice pictures out there that will become reality in this application. It's a different look, but I still think it's an attractive building at the end of the day. But those guiding principles are about the students and about the use of this and how it will be a function for the community, and I think we stay true to all of those elements in this.
Matt, can you just quickly show the inside of the athletic portion of it? I'm not sure if the board saw the inside of the building. Do you have that?
Which one,
Of this, or do you have the old? Do you have the old?
I only have the old in terms
Did you guys ever see the inside?
of the interior.
Okay.
I wanted to see the interior finishes.
So,
What's changed with the finish?
Well, the only thing that's changed, I mean, the walls, the walls, I mean, everything's the same. The spirit of the building, the layout of the rooms. I think we did take out some ceramic tile that was in the shower room, and we're gonna do, you know, epoxy paint on the floors and on the walls.
What was going on the floors before?
We were putting tile on the floor, right, in the shower room.
we were,
That's good. It's no
so
problem.
this was the shower room. We had some fun with school colors and we made it a pretty nice place. We do have ceramic tile floors. That's one of the biggest areas where the interior material would change. We would have
That's about all that's
epoxy
changing
paint-
inside.
Epoxy paint on the walls, and we would have epoxy flooring on the floor to maintain the waterproof element of that, but no, we're eliminating the tile in its entirety. The rubber floor that we have specified for both all 3 locker rooms, we're going to keep. We're not choosing to eliminate that because it is the right material. We have 2 different colors and accent of the orange, but that's the kind of material that's going to last, it's going to hold up to the cleats. If it's just concrete, kids will be skating across that with the cleats. Not something we want. So this is not a want-to. This is a must-have in terms of this particular. We got rid of the wants. We didn't get rid of the musts.
In the concession stand area, has anything changed in there as far
Not
as like
really,
the
we didn't have a
stainless
lot in there.
tables,
We
finish
had-
on the walls?
We had a 3-bowl sink, and we had some countertop. That's it. We never had any kitchen equipment. This was about crock pots and hot dog rollers and countertop equipment, popcorn maker. We didn't have the fryers, we didn't have grills, we didn't have any of those extras. So there wasn't a lot to cut there. The only thing we could cut is the size, and we chose not to do that.
We felt the boosters would bring in the things, the coolers and so on and so forth that they
Yeah.
need to bring in.
No, I meant like stainless steel countertops or
We
whatever.
still have stainless steel countertops
Okay.
because the resilience is still the order of the day. We want this place to serve
Good.
the community for a long period of time, and that's part of it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Matt?
So if we decide to move forward, I mean, would we take this new concept and put that back out on the website so that we're not
Yes.
fluffing it way up?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we already talked about it.
Sooner versus later?
What's gonna happen, what we're gonna ask for approval, and it's on the agenda, is to reject these bids
Okay.
Monday night, and then get permission to go ahead and solicit bids under the new design. Once we're eliminating that, and Chris, you guys, we need to limit, we were gonna let you guys know that, we need to eliminate the other one off the website, and then once we have this new on, it's gonna provide that for us, we go out for bids, we'll put that back on.
I don't know how many people go on there a day. I mean, I just pull it down now. You know that's not real. Fake, right?
Yeah. And truthfully, the materiality is different. The program is identical, the way the spaces lay out is not changing at all. And even the large part of the form is different. You know, we had metal panel before. We had round face block, we have split face block now. That's a pretty subtle change in terms of the reality. And the biggest omission now is facebrick that matches the school. We got rid of that altogether, so that was that element that kind of warmed the thing up a little bit. That's the most noticeable thing. But beyond that, I think the shell itself remains pretty close to its original character, in my opinion. And I just signed the first one. I'm kind of excited about that. So I'm kind of excited about this one too. It's a different way of looking at it.
Is there any chance of getting the plans for how to do the stuff sooner than possible, in 2 months?
There's a lot of engineering that needs to take place, and this is something, the envelope is a total redesign. All the details of the wall, the foundation systems, we're kind of starting from scratch because it's supported in a different way. So there's just time involved in doing that and making sure that it's coordinated. It doesn't do us any good to bid a drawing set that has a bunch of holes in it, that the contractors are gonna come back and poke a bunch of holes in and change it. We wanna make sure that when you go to bid, we have the same quality of drawing set itself that we do. I don't think that's a compromise.
And I think the timeline, the bidding in December and awarding in, late January, early February, people are gonna be, before the construction is gonna take, it's gonna go over the winter months, which we think might add some cost to
Yeah,
this.
and
Now-
no one will admit how much that premium was, but yeah, starting in November and staring down December and January as your first 2 months on the site, not a lot you can do there. If you want to pour concrete, you're probably putting blankets over it, and you're trying to heat it with generators and propane tanks and things like that.
And we had an April 1st
There's
deadline
costs
before.
associated with that.
So now what we.
So now we're gonna have, we're now looking on.
We've kind of fallen backwards into an ideal bidding scenario. Always want to bid in late winter and be ready to move in spring. That's when we get your best bang for your buck in terms of construction.
So we were actually, our start date was gonna be as soon as these bids come back.
Yeah. We were hoping to be pushing dirt around.
See, I would've never, I'm more along the lines of that, it's like when they were gonna rebid it, is that gonna put the project behind? And if it's not, then, most of those labor unions right now, they're laying their guys off. They want off for the winter time, the hunting season, and if they can't get guys to work through those months.
There's a significant shortage of labor.
And,
Yeah, even without the holiday.
when it starts up, and then, there's, a lot of disappointment with going through this now, is what we had planned on, and what we now might have to have as reality is like you gotta scale it down, it's not gonna be as nice, but I think in retrospect, we gotta realize too, that comparative to this, to what we have, or what we've ever had, it still way surpasses facilities that we have right now, so still,
And truthfully, the compromises were really not made in the student facilities.
right, still the
home
same
locker
size.
room is the same size, it has the same lockers, it has the same flooring. The soccer club room has the same lockers, has the same flooring, is the same size. We didn't, the guiding principles are really about the kids. And this building remains true to that ideal and that value. I think that's important.
You won't see many better 5A facilities in the Whitfield, even with this. Some of your 6A places, yes, but not 5A. From what we hear from our coaches and even our principals, from some of the places we go to, we play, this will still be.
We still have a film room, we still have a training room.
Yeah, we
coaching
still have
office.
everything that we wanted before, and,
The carpet and all those things, we're not putting them on the concrete either.
we've seen with this, it's, there's just endless, you want the Ford XL, or do you want a Platinum model? You know what I mean? It's the same thing, and you can just keep putting more stuff on it, and where do you stop? A conference center, that's, everything with it all, but, I'm thinking, if we get into a better bid time when labor is better, what are we gonna do when this project comes back at, $200 a square foot, because it's like, whoa, geez, maybe.
I'm much more excited about that problem than the one that we had to deal with.
We won't spend the extra money, we can find somewhere else to use it. So that'd be great if this comes below 3.2.
Yeah, it's like
When it
way
comes in below
cheaper.
3.2.
And it's like, now it's like, okay, well, wait a minute, let's go back to this plan again,
No.
because this came, but it's equally as good, I believe, and, I think we should be satisfied, just a little disappointed with the time frame and everything. I think everybody was just kind of waiting for that. And
We're
we'll-
excited to
we'll
see
get-
it go, yeah.
We'll get past that.
I'm the same way.
Think?
And I know you alluded to it, but just to be clear, we're not paying for the redesign. You are paying for, okay, I mean, that's makes it a little bit, makes it a lot easier to move forward,
No,
so,
this is,
all right,
this isn't something we.
all right.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
You guys
Next
want,
update we have
you guys
is
want to come back here?
Rob Strickler from Reynolds is gonna update us on the ESCO project at Ellerton Elementary and give us an update on the punch list items. Do you have an update on punch list items in Shannon?
I do not. I know we just started to start up the boilers today, so first day it started there went well. Having some issues with the dishwasher, have the factory rep coming out tomorrow. Temperature of the water, see how that affects it.
Okay.
But spend most of my time talking about Elderton, again, like we've done in the past, we're gonna go through the scope, budget, schedule, and then, questions. So, the HVAC system here at Elton, carbon copy of what we've just done at Shannon Valley. Gonna be demolishing all the HVAC equipment. The boilers currently are in the high school portion. We're gonna be divorcing the high school from the elementary school on the HVAC. So those boilers are gonna remain, they're gonna serve the high school. We're creating a new boiler room that will serve only the elementary. We're gonna have air conditioning and a dedicated outdoor air system. Again, new fan coils in classrooms, rooftop air handlers for the large spaces, and the VRF system in the offices. Energy management system is also going to be just like what we've done at Shannon. So, purpose of this is to just show you where the new boiler room is going to be. Right here's the entrance. Over here is the entrance, and this is what is currently called the boiler room. Boilers are not there. That's mechanical, like hot water heater, electrical equipment. We're going to put the new boiler room right over here. This is currently gym storage. So the gym storage that we're displacing there, we're going to put down here. This is currently just a space where they're serving or storing and serving line for the cafeteria. So we're going to pull all that out and put the gym storage over there. Electrical, again, very, very similar to what we did at Shannon Valley. The big thing that has changed since we were here in August is the fire alarm system. We were nervous that the code officials were going to make us install a fire alarm system that would cover the entire building because it is still one building. However, they told us that we can, again, divorce the elementary school from the high school portion, and we can install just a new fire alarm system for that elementary school piece of the building. So that is a significant cost savings. The access control system that designated locations, going to be here at the main entrance, as well as a couple of other areas that we identified. And then down here at the intersection of the elementary school and the high school, that's going to be all card access there as well. Plumbing, all the same there. We're going to have new drinking fountains in the classroom sinks, new water, new efficient bathroom fixtures, new condensing hot water heater, domestic and sanitary piping. We don't want to go in and just wholesale replace it. We want to keep what's good and replace what needs to be replaced. So we're planning to come in with the plumbing consultant again and scope out the areas where we know there are problems, see what it is, and then we'll repair those places where we've identified that it has to be done. And then the kitchen, we're going to be revising the kitchen a little bit. I know this is kind of hard to see, but this is the kitchen area here. Really, the biggest changes are going to be down in this area. There's an old freezer there. We're going to be demolishing that. They still have the freezer here and cooler there. Backwards. Cooler here, freezer here. They're still going to have those spaces. This is going to be additional dry storage here. And then in the kitchen proper, we're going to move the 3-bowl sink up to where the dishwasher is, where it should be. And we're going to pull out 2 kitchen hoods and replace it with 1 new, more efficient code. Architectural, again, very much the same. Biggest changes here are the new entrance canopy and a fence. Right now, when you come up to that building, it's kind of hard to know where the main entrance is. Nothing that really calls out and says, this is where you're supposed to come in. And then you have the concrete jersey barriers in front there to kind of block traffic from where the kids are playing. So we've worked with the architect, we have an idea that we'd like to pitch to you guys for that. And then the roof repair. We were finally able to get a roof scan done after about 20 tries. Every time we had it scheduled, it rained. So we had to keep rescheduling. Well, they completed that, and the news was not exactly what we were hoping for, but I think we've figured out a path forward that minimizes the cost, but still gets you a good quality roof with, as you see, a 20-year warranty. So this shows the secure entrance. Right now, the second set of doors is right here, so you come through, you go through the second set of doors, and then you come around into the office up top there. The way we've changed it, we moved the second set of doors back here. All visitors are required to go into the office right there, and then check in, and then they can go back out into the building. You see the principal's office here. This area is all storage still, a bathroom, closet, and then we kind of reorganized the nurse's suite area there. This is a picture of the roof scan that we got. All of these pinkish red areas were indicated as areas where the roof scan noted moisture. So you'll see this is the cafeteria, this is the multi-purpose room, and then classroom and the office areas down here. So you see the multi-purpose room almost all compromised. So our plan is to basically re-roof the entire multi-purpose room, and then each of these other areas cut out, repair, pull out the wet insulation, repair that as well. And then when everything is in, then we're going to come in and do a fluid applied roof coating, which is basically sits on top of the existing EPDM membrane, and then you have a whole continuous surface there, and that comes with a 20-year warranty as well. So here's a rendering of what we came up with the architect for kind of I hate to call it a canopy because it's not really a canopy, but a little entrance area there to identify, and then a chain link fence here that would go across and replace where the jersey barriers are. We would have a man gate in here for pedestrian traffic in and out, and then over here we would have a truck gate because deliveries still need to come into the store. So again, first blush look at it, trying to keep the budget in mind and stick with that. But I think it accomplishes what we were hoping to of, identifying the main entrance and then replacing the jersey barriers and making it just a little more appealing visually. So the other part of the project for next summer is finishing up the work at Shannock Valley. Remediate the remaining asbestos tile and installing new VCT throughout, painting the classrooms, and then revising the kitchen layout and finishing that process that we started earlier. So this is a drawing of the kitchen layout. So the biggest thing you'll notice here, currently, this is where the serving line is, okay? So our plan right now is to install a serving line here that's out into the cafeteria a little bit, but it's a mobile serving line. So we'll have plugs, electric in the floor, so that if you ever need this space after hours or during the day, this can all be taken apart and moved out of the way. Right here where the serving line is currently, we would have warming trays and a cooler. So basically, the kitchen staff can feed these trays, and then the serving staff can just turn around and pull from the warming areas as needed. Again, going to be replacing hoods and then putting in some new equipment as well. So on to the interesting part, the budget. You'll see the budget numbers are all fairly close to where they were last time when we were here. Here for Elberton, they actually went down a little bit. We were closer to $8 million on the total estimate. Now we're down to about 7.7. So the net cost after the energy savings and operational, about 7.3. At Shannock Kent Valley, these numbers actually ticked up a little bit. We were below 800,000 last time, we were in the high 700s. Basically, I think we've been able to identify the scope a little bit more tight, so we know exactly what it is we're looking at. But again, I think all of this gets us in pretty close to the $18 million budget that we looked at about a year and a half ago. And what we've added into the project that we didn't have included in that is the roof. We did not have any kind of roof work at Elderton included in there. So we feel pretty good that we were able to get that roof in, still be very close to that initial budget that we presented. And again, these are all estimates. Hopefully, we're able to come back and show you, bid numbers that are below the estimates as we did last time. Schedule, again, staying pretty much the same. We're going to be out to bid in mid-November, have the bids come in mid-December, meet with the administration, review all the information there, and then come to you in January, hoping to present some good numbers and get your approval. We'll award subcontracts and begin the shop drawing process. Start that limited construction in the March to May timeframe. Once school's out, really jump into it, and then be done in mid-August. So that covers.
So when you say the roof at Elmerton, just on the elementary piece?
That's all that we're going to be doing.
All right, so nothing on the, all right, that's good.
The fire alarm system, excuse me, at the elementary is gonna be new. Will there still be an existing fire alarm at the high school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? Good. Okay, good. Okay, keep your fingers crossed.
Thanks, Ron.
Public comments on agenda items. Okay, we move on to the presentation of regular monthly agenda. Any reports this evening? Reports and report section. Minutes from the open caucus session of September 7th and the regular meeting of September 11th. Of consensus to place those on for.
Yeah.
Bills, food service fund for September. Capital projects fund for August, capital projects fund September, athletic fund for August, and the presentation of the bills for payment for September. Anything on that, Sam, for
No, nothing at this time.
presentation? Any questions from the board members on the bills categories? Consensus to place those on for Monday?
Yep.
Personnel discussion, executive session, education items, student transfer requests, and the Armstrong High School field trip. Anything that, other than that?
Dr. Warren's gonna highlight the field trip. It's,
The field trip's for the AHS band to attend parade in Hershey at the park, where they'll actually have the opportunity to be scored like a competition, so they get a sense of, where they kind of stand if they were being judged, and they get a score on that, and then they'll have some time at the park.
Consensus to place those two education on? Business items, 1, 2, and 3, E-rate filings.
Yeah, I'll discuss 2 and 3 first, and then Mr. Clausen will discuss 1. Business 2, just creation of a student activity varsity club out at West Shamokin High School. It's typical when we're starting a new student activity, we ask for board approval. And business 3 is, I believe,
Yeah, I can help you.
Mr. Price, you want to talk about that one?
You may recall that we previously adopted a bridge financing resolution for the RCAP project, which is the demolition and reuse of Ford City High School and Katanning Junior High. The office, well, what they call the budget office, not the office of the budget, I'm not sure what the difference is. When they reviewed the RCAP, they requested that the resolution be amended to show that the county government itself won't be involved in participation of the actual grant, meaning no funds will run through them to the Industrial Development Council and then to the school district in terms of any reimbursements. So we are still being the ones who will front the money so that the Industrial Development Council doesn't have to borrow it and pay interest. As any payments come in on the grant, they will still be paying it back to us, any monies that we have advanced. The other thing you want to be aware of is the state is apparently going to treat this grant as phase 1 and 2. Phase 1, they feel is already been done because we did our match through the construction project. So there will be a reimbursement coming out to the school district on that. And then the balance for the demolition contractor will be advanced by us and again will be reimbursed through the the Armstrong County Industrial Development Corporation. In conjunction with that, we're going to be required to enter into a cooperation agreement. Now, what that means is it's a three-way agreement between Armstrong County Industrial Development Council, Armstrong County, even though they're not receiving any funds, and Armstrong School District as a sub-recipient. The county is involved because they are considered the host municipality where this project is occurring. But the important part that you're going to want to be aware of when this cooperation agreement comes out is that Armstrong School District is the ultimate beneficiary as a sub-recipient. We have to agree to indemnify the county, the Armstrong Industrial Development Council, in case the state misappropriates money to them. Okay? I don't think it could come up because the state's only going to appropriate, remember, this is a reimbursement grant. They have to see proof of it was spent on hard costs, and then they reimbursed. But the grant's going to require that in a sense, we are protecting Armstrong County, which is only right since they're not actually receiving the proceeds, and as well as the Armstrong Industrial Development Council, who is charged with managing this project and assisting and hopefully finding a viable reuse for the property after the demolitions occur. Questions on that? We don't have the cooperation agreement yet, although there was a draft circulated. I did a portion of it and sent it on to the Armstrong Industrial Development Council, and they'll be getting back to us. I just don't know if it would be by Monday, but it can wait. It's not a priority. Our resolution change, though, the statement is done ASAP. So that would be a request to keep that on the agenda for Monday.
And then Mr. Clausen has one other item.
Okay, so I'm gonna, is this one still? Okay, I'm gonna address, business item number 1. We're seeking the approval of our Category 2 E-rate project for the fund year 2017. This was a PEPM mini bid that was conducted after July 1st for wireless access points and battery backup units. Basically, the process was to put out requests for bids, in a sense, through this mini bid from PEPM pricing. And several companies would respond back, and then we were able to rate them based on the actual price point, what training or anything like that was offered along with the equipment, and the equipment itself based on previous experience that we've had with those companies. The way it worked out, we were awarded the project for connectivity communications. We're going to receive around $133,000, just a little over, of wireless access points The district's actual cost for that will only be $26,000 of that because of our E-rate reimbursement. We're only going to pay 20% of that project. So we will receive 262 access points that will replace our existing infrastructure. And it'll actually expand and increase its capability for a very small fraction of what it would actually cost. Also, the E-Plus technologies, we received that one as well. So we would get around $30,000 worth of battery backup units for roughly $6,000. This will replace and expand our existing backup solutions battery backup solutions we have. The purpose of these is to keep our network infrastructure as well as our phones. Most of our phones in the district, with the exception of one building, are network phones, network IP phones, also referred to as VoIP. So they help keep these systems on during short power outages, and in some cases allow us to transfer over to generator power seamlessly so those systems continue to function. So out of the total project, the district's going to see a savings of $130,804.88 based on that 80% reimbursement rate. So the total project for the district is listed $32,701.22 for all of that equipment. So it'll definitely be a big boost in technology and give us a lot to use for the next at least 5 years and beyond.
And that 32,000 that Mr. Claus is referring to is already in the technology budget for this
Yes.
current year, so it's something that was not budgeted for.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Consensus to place those 3 business items on for Monday? 2 construction items, rejection of the bids for the Armstrong High School Athletic Complex and engineering work for West Shamokin football field improvements.
Yeah, we briefly talked about the rejection of the bids. We discussed why we need to do that. And the other one, engineering work for the West Shamokin football field. The plan is for us to move forward here in the near future and to also propose to put turf on the West Shamokin field. We have a bid from Progress, which has done our baseball, softball, and now our football field at the Armstrong site. And we're proposing that they put turf on the West Shamokin site. Pricing's being held till January 1st. They'd like to get some initial work done, not to exceed $40,000 to do some testing. They need to do some core testing in the ground and surface to see exactly what type of filtration and type needs to be done underneath the turf. But that $40,000 is part of the original price of the $750. So it's not gonna be $750 on top of the $40. We'll come to you guys probably within the next month or two to award the overall project after we have this initial work done.
Any questions? Consensus to place that on? Skipped maintenance. We had one maintenance for a Sunday usage of Armstrong High School wrestling club.
We have to waive the policy with that Sunday usage rule. Elementary wrestling tournament, our boosters are gonna run concessions for that, and they stand to do very well. It's a statewide tournament, which brings a lot of people.
Good. Consensus place that on? Student transportation services, just an updated list of bus drivers. Pupil transportation contract for 17-18, along with approval bus routes for 17-18. Consensus to place those on? And we got 4 policy items.
Not a whole lot of reading when you look at them, but policy 105.1, what's occurring here is if we're showing films for educational purposes, only films rated G can be shown after review by the teacher and approval of the building principal. If a film is rated PG, again, it has to be reviewed and approved by the teacher, reviewed and approved by the principal, but parents and guardians have to be notified that the film is being shown and on what day, and if they want their child opt out of it, the child will receive different course instruction for that day, for that class. If a film is rated PG-13, it can only be shown in the secondary school with the same requirements that parents can opt the child out for that particular period of the day. when the film is being shown during their course. Policy 109, quite frankly, the only real change is the fee for behind-the-wheel driving lessons will go from $50 to $155. Again, that's the behind-the-wheel that is usually done it is done either after school or in the summer. The other thing is public speaking and family consumer are now going to be required courses that will be scheduled in 10, 11, and 12. I got that right?
Yeah, the actual fee for the on-the-road driver's training has been the fee.
Oh, so we're just correcting it to
We're
put it
basically
where-
correcting it in the guideline.
And policy 907,
No.
No.
that sounds a lot better than what I said then.
Yeah.
Right.
Have to raise our millage for that one. I'm just kidding. Don't anybody.
Here, why don't you stick this
The-
pen
the-
in my eye?
The public complaint policy 907, the changes are minor. It's really how we're administratively handling those complaints and which administrators will be in charge of doing that.
Okay.
And those are for any complaints about programs for which we receive federal funding. And we're required to have such a policy in place for all federal funded programs, which we don't have too many, really.
Thank you. Any questions on those policies? Consensus to place those policies on for Monday? Are there any informational folders?
There's two letters of request and information folder for the equipment that's made it through both our auctions, and people willing to make a donation to accept those items. And there's also an up-to-date enrollment list as of October 1st in there as well for you to look at.
Anything from board members? Entertain a motion to adjourn in a second. Mr. Berry, all in favor? Opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.